Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to First Church Unitarian here in Littleton, Massachusetts. My name is Lara Hoke, pronouns she, her, and I'm very happy and lucky to be the minister serving this wonderful congregation. If you are new with us here this morning, we're so glad that you've joined us, whether here in person or online. It's great to have you. Or maybe you've come back for a second or third time, or maybe you've been coming here for decades, but either way, we're so happy that you're among us. We cherish your presence and hope to get to know you better. Let you know, we always welcome the sounds of babies and children, so don't worry about that. We're happy that they're here. Today, we're in the home stretch of our stewardship season, so you'll have a couple of fun musical surprises for that. And we're also in the holy month of Ramadan, so Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim neighbors and siblings. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Lori for Community Matters.
Good morning. My name is Locascio. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the privilege and honor to serve this congregation as a member of the Standing Committee. If you are new here also and would like someone to follow up with you or to sign up for the newsletter, please fill out one of these light purple cards that you could find among the pews and put it in the collection basket during the offertory. I have good show and tells today. There's a lot of information in Community Matters, which is available online and as an insert in the order of service. So please read through it. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. Sign-ups for religious education, hospitality, stewardship. Also note the nominating committee little blurb in there if you're interested to join us on the standing committee or any of the other positions that they listed there. After this service, I invite you to fellowship hour in the vestry. Please go through this door, down the stairs, and you'll follow the smell of coffee, but please be mindful of others as we navigate our way there. Also, after the service, I invite you to the downstairs dining room for a meeting with a special guest. State Senator Jamie Eldridge will be there as the representative from a lot of the towns that we live in to discuss actions we can take to protect our democracy and help Massachusetts residents. I hope to see you there. I will be there. For this time of worship, please silence your phones and watches. And welcome to church.
Love is the bridge between you and everything. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. All loves are a bridge to the divine love. The words of 13th century Sufi poet Rumi. Let us worship. I'd like to invite Sierra to come and light our chalice this morning. And as Sierra lights our chalice, please join me in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. Our opening hymn is actually around. It's number 1023 in the teal hymnal, Building Bridges. The words will also be on the screen, and Molly will help guide us through. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Please be seated.
Okay, we have a little short reading. Let's see, put Sierra next to me. Put Natalie next to Sierra, Isabel, and then you two come over here. Okay.
When we come together on Sunday mornings, our eyes light up.
And smiles come to our faces. We support each other in times of need.
We celebrate each other in all together. We are so
Happy to be.
Create a space where we can all be ourselves.
We are so happy together. We'll get it.
And when we feel lost, down, or scared, we know that we will be supported by each other.
All of us. We are so happy together.
We invite others in with open arms because we want to share our loving community.
Everybody. We are so happy together.
We are not only stronger when we are together, but we are more joyful.
One more time. We are so happy together. And now we invite you to
Get up and sing.
all right. And Molly's gonna play, and the choir's gonna sing, and you're all gonna dance. Natalie, you stay.
My drummer. My cover. Thanks, Peter. One, two, three, four.
This congregation is self-supporting. We rely on the generosity of our members and friends for our ministries. We share generously their time and talent for the ministries of FCU. Now, if you are able, we ask that you share some of your treasure to support our ministries. You heard words of 13th century Sufi poet Rūmī in our call to worship. Rūmī also wrote, "Be like a river in generosity and giving help." For those in the sanctuary, please put any cash into the collection baskets as they come around. For virtual participants, you can go to our website, fculittle.org, and look for the yellow donate button in the upper right. There you'll see details of how to donate online if you wish. You could also send a check through the postal mail to the church, if you wish, to the attention of the Assistant Treasurer. Thank you for your generosity. This offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation.
Please join me in our community response. May we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. Many Sundays, we have a special time we call the Candles of Caring. This is an opportunity for you to share what's dearest and closest to your heart this morning with this gathered beloved community. If you have a special joy, concern, or sorrow that you would like to share, and you're in the sanctuary, if you're able, we invite you to come up to the microphone and say your name and briefly let us know how we might direct our thoughts, prayers, or healing wishes. And if you're able, if you can line up on the sides, that will help us spend less time and have more people to share if they wish. We'll also have an opportunity to bring the microphone to you where you sit. And for those of you who are with us on Zoom, please, if you wish to share, raise the hand in the reactions area of Zoom. Are there any candles of caring this morning?
Any other hands? No.
Okay. Is there anyone in the sanctuary who would like the microphone brought to you? Okay. Then please join me, if you would, in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Once again, we have come together in love and trust, sharing those cares dearest to us with this gathered beloved community. Let us hold in our thoughts and our prayers those joys, concerns, and sorrows that were spoken aloud, as well as those that remain unspoken, as we share together in a time of sacred silence. Amen, and blessed be. I've always found the song "London Bridge is Falling Down" to be a little eerie, just a little unsettling. It's in a major key and the basic melody is cheery enough, but the words are a little disturbing. Shouldn't we be alarmed that a big bridge is falling down? And why are children always singing this song, these words? It's creepy. And who is this fair lady? It's all very mysterioso. There are a few creepy stories about the origins of the song, too. The words, at least, though none of these stories has really been confirmed. There are several variations. According to one version, the origin of the song goes back to 1014, when Vikings supposedly destroyed an early London bridge. Another apocryphal origin story has it that the song is referring to child sacrifice, perhaps even children being buried alive at the base of the bridge. I say apocryphal, but it is at least a fact that bodies were found beneath the London Bridge during some construction in 2007. Adult bodies, though. So that's not bad. Then there are some creepy extra verses that were added in the late 19th century. Who has stole my watch and chain, watch and chain? Who has stole my watch and chain, my fair lady? Off to prison you must go, you must go, you must go. Off to prison you must go, my fair lady. Perhaps the most likely origin story for the lyrics, in my opinion, is from the third Old London Bridge that was completed in 1209 AD, around the time of the poet Rūmī. That bridge stood for more than 600 years. It was made of stone, and it did get worn down eventually, started to crumble regularly, sometimes dramatically. It was in a constant state of repair for the final couple hundred years. And so it's thought perhaps people were singing London Bridge is falling down as is always kind of falling down. And the fair lady in this version would be Eleanor of Provence, Henry III's consort, who was known to keep the money for herself that was meant to go toward repairing the bridge. Whatever it's all about, there's that weird tension or juxtaposition between the wholesome basic melody and the lyrics of impending doom. Thank you, Molly. I know some people who are a little frightened of bridges. I have a good friend who white knuckles it anytime we're going over a bridge, but especially longer ones or ones with a particularly big arch. I've known people who have the superstition that you're supposed to hold your breath while going over a bridge. That's pretty hard on a really long bridge, or if you hit traffic going over the Sagamore or Bourne Bridge heading to the Cape in the summer. But bridges seem to be interestingly evocative for many of us. Maybe in part that's because we use the metaphor building bridges, as in our opening hymn, connecting people, especially connecting people across some sort of divide by culture or belief, what have you. And of course, there's also the common metaphor of burning your bridges, or angrily choosing, consciously or not, to destroy a potential connection for yourself, perhaps forever. Maybe it's the basic beauty of bridges that's evocative. After all, they can be architecturally compelling, and they're often stretching over lovely waterways. And then again, sometimes bridges tragically are a spot that people go to in their darkest hours, contemplating jumping or actually jumping. I think of the haunting Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry. Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. It's a lot, isn't it? I started thinking about bridges recently while I was watching Annika, which is a BBC program that's been shown on PBS. You can sometimes find it on streaming services too. And the titular character, Annika, is played by Nicola Walker, who's one of my wife's and my favorites. In season 1, episode 4, the character pontificates on bridges throughout the show, all while breaking that fourth wall and looking directly at the audience as she speaks. At one point, Annika turns to the audience and says, "I remember once being in a cab going over the fourth bridge, and the driver was telling me that the bridge ended in a never-ending struggle between tension and compression, two sides constantly pulling away from each other. And if the engineers didn't manage the demands of these two opposing sides, the bridge would buckle or collapse completely. I remember that in keeping a stable structure together, I thought, some tension is clearly important, just not too much. In keeping a stable structure together, some tension is clearly important, just not too much." And yes, it's true, bridges are in a perpetual state of this delicate balance in connecting the two sides of the divide. The bridges are in a continual state of push-pull, and that's a lot of stress. And bridges have to be built to handle that stress. It's a constant give and take, and if each side doesn't give as good as it gets, there's a big problem. And That's the way it is with relationships too. If you're always disagreeing and fighting in a relationship, that's too much. That's pretty miserable. That could lead to sudden collapse. But if you're in a relationship and you never disagree or argue, I doubt that both sides of that relationship are doing their share of pushing and pulling. If just one side is doing all the pushing and pulling, that also could be a potential recipe for some real problems. And it's true for group relations too. When you train to become a minister in Unitarian Universalism, and I'm guessing other traditions as well, they want you to study some conflict resolution because human institutions will have tension and conflict, and that's not all bad. If there's never tension, there's never change. If there's never tension, there's never creativity. If there's never tension, there's no growth. If there's never tension, that's a recipe for disaster too. A couple of weeks ago, on Valentine's Day, I read a piece written by another Unitarian Universalist minister, Jake Morrill, and he wrote, "Love is a dance, a constant push and pull between closeness and space. It takes both love and desire. And they're not the same. Love says, I'm here, and desire says, I want. Love reassures, desire challenges. We need both. Without reassurance, love crumbles under doubt. Without challenge, desire fades into complacency. Fire needs air. As in love, so in leadership. Of course, in leadership, we don't talk about love and desire. We talk about connection and clarity, he writes. But the principle remains. A leader who reassures but never challenges becomes background noise, like a reliable HVAC system, always humming, never noticed. A leader who challenges but never connects burns through trust like dry kindling. True leadership, like true love, comes alive in the balance. Morrill shares that Murray Brown, a renowned family researcher, described two primal forces always at play: togetherness, and individuality. Togetherness says, stay with the group, don't rock the boat. It thrives on affirmation, warmth, and agreement. And individuality says, stand your ground, speak your truth. It insists on self-determination. It insists on distinction, on courage. Push too far into fusion and you smother. Pull too far towards separation and you disappear. So Morrill concludes that love deepens through connection. Desire reignites through some difference. Leadership thrives in both clarity and warmth. The best lovers, the best leaders do not smother or shrink. They stay ready, they stay connected, they stay moving, and they stay themselves. So whether in love or in leadership, choose to have both heart and backbone. Give space, but not too much. Step closer, but not too close. The best love, the best leadership doesn't cling, it compels. We need space, we need presence. The world needs both. Will you rise to the challenge? Here at First Church Unitarian, we are indeed happy together. You were pretty darn happy together when I first met you almost 7 years ago. And even through the pandemic and after the pandemic, we have found our way together to being happy too. And it isn't because we always agree. We agree upon important things like values, like the jet pig values that were referenced in our anthem. Jet pig values in our UU bylaws standing for justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. we agree on these values. And we agree on the value of community and the value of meaning-making together in community. But can we disagree sometimes? Yes, we can disagree on certain things, like the how of doing things. We can disagree on what's most effective in making our ministries happen. We can disagree on tactics and aesthetics. We can disagree on whether we want to sing this kind of song or that kind of song. We can disagree about how we want the building to look, inside or outside. And that's okay. And it's true that compromise is necessary in any relationship, and accepting imperfection is necessary in any human relationship. But if you don't say what you think about something that's important to you, if you always find yourself holding back your opinions, it's not going to work. We need that creative tension of your honest opinion and possible disagreement if it's there. It doesn't mean that you or I will always get our way, but it means that we will always be heard, and that's important. And you never know when your diverging opinion or the diverging opinion of somebody else might save the day in some way. The tension, that loving tension that has a heart and a backbone, keeps a congregation happy together. This congregation, like all Unitarian Universalist congregations, has congregational polity. And that's why we make our own decisions, we raise our own funds, we make our own way in covenant together. We aren't told what to do by a higher body. Our denomination is simply an association of congregations, of sovereign congregations who covenant together to help one another. But each individual congregation is its own sovereign entity, and each UU congregation is democratic. The members vote and decide what to do, and some votes are, of course, by the proxy of the standing committee for practical reasons. Any democratic body, any representative democracy needs tension, needs to be delicately balanced like a bridge. And right now, FCU's balance is holding. The beautiful, elegant arch of our connection remains 311 years after this congregation was founded by Puritans. The Puritans were democratic in their congregational polity too. And think of all the creative tension it took to get us from Puritanism in 1714 to where we are today, modern Unitarian Universalism, with our Earth from Space flag and our diversity pride flag in the back. It really is quite something. Today, of course, we are all worried about the somewhat younger experiment in democracy that is the United States of America. The United States has made it through 249 years of its own incredible changes. But the tension, that push and pull of relationship and connection and democracy is dangerously lopsided in this time, when an autocratic regime like the current administration takes over, especially controlling Congress and stacked courts, especially when it has enormous corporations kowtowing to it. This is a recipe for buckling and collapse. So I hope, if you're able, you will join the Reclaiming Our Democracy meeting today after the service, after the coffee, going downstairs to the dining room, and you can attend on Zoom, as I understand it, as well. Together, we can work toward restoring the beautiful and delicate balance of democracy. We have to add our dissenting push to the administration's pull, and it's going to take all of us to put things right. It's a dangerous time, to be sure, though democracy, when it's working, is in a perpetual state of push-pull, of tension, compression, like a bridge. As presidential historian John Meacham put it, there was never a once upon a time in American history, and there's never going to be a happily ever after. Democracy takes work. Push-pull. By pushing back against this administration and the oligarchs, we can help re-achieve the balance. And meanwhile, on a smaller scale, here at FCU and locally, closer to home, I hope we can continue to be a supportive bridge for each other and others in the community when times are tough. We hope we can put our bodies on the line for our immigrant neighbors and siblings, for transgender neighbors and siblings, for disabled and chronically ill neighbors and siblings. I hope we can lay ourselves down and help those under duress and threat. And I hope we'll be here to continue to hold each other up when darkness comes. May we help beautiful dreams be back on their way. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. For our closing song this morning, we're going to sing Bridge Over Troubled Water. And there's a lyric insert, and the words are also on the screens. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Oops.
For our closing words, I invite you, if you're comfortable, to hold hands with the person next to you, if they're okay with it too, or touch feet or elbows or anything that works for you, or simply hold up your hands and feel the energy between us and those who are with us online as well. Friends, we are each other's solid support. We are each other's beam bridge, filling the divide in these difficult times. We have each other. We know how to balance relationships. We know how to work for justice. And I know that working together here and with other like-minded good people in this country, beautiful dreams can be back on their way. Thank you for all you do to build this beautiful world. Blessed be, and amen. Please be seated.